Now we will create our font. So we are creating one for now, say about 32, and sans serif works for tutorial. Let's name it FNT and generate font. We select, actually we also call it FNT here, and we save it, and it says font generation is finished. Okay, add the generated font, yes of course, thank you, and we exit. And when we click on this label, it says now new text. Well, as you can see, there's a weird gap here. Now I haven't been able to find a solution for that, so if anyone knows, please let me know in the comments, please. Okay, so it says new text. Well, we will be printing numeric values here, so let's just keep it as 0. Oops, sorry, my bad. Okay, this text max will determine how many characters this label can hold. Okay, but our text should be this. Okay, 0, done. And then this is our button. You can change a few things here. For example, this is how it looks normally. Well, let's keep it just simply that way, and when it is clicked it will look green, but green is a bit lame, so we actually choose, say for example, that it's also lame. Okay, and this is the color of our text here when it's not clicked, well, I mean tapped, and this is the color when it's tapped, so we select that as white. Okay, then this progress bar, this slider, well, we can set the maximum and minimum values for it, which is very good, obviously. Max val for our project is 255 and minimum value is 0. I guess you guys are guessing where this is going. Okay, and we set our initial value as 0, and this progress bar can only have value between 0 and 100. The initial value is 50, but we set it to 0. Okay, well, now it's time for a bit sophistication, because we are calling in, we are inserting our gauge here. Okay, we position it very, very carefully, and we just set it, okay, as much carefully as possible, and there we go. Then what we do is we actually select solid color, crop image, then we select the picture as our background image, and voila, it is now set perfectly. Now we just adjust the color of it, set it to white, and maybe we make it a bit thick, and here we go. We have renamed our button, we have set this label to 0, and we just add an additional thing which I'll be describing later. Okay, it's a variable and its name is VA0. Obviously you can change that, this object name, but we can keep it this way now. Let's just save it. Now if we click this debug button, we can actually see our display in action. For example, if we click it, we see our lame combination. We can drag this slider and such. Okay, so now we will be setting the events such as click events, or when the slider is pulled the value has to be sent to the microcontroller, or when we update some value the gauge should show it and such. Okay, so how do we do it? We click the button, and what we do is we see that there are two events. It's a press and it's a release. So they're self-explanatory. When you press it and when you release it, two events. So when we press it, we send the component ID. This makes sure that this press event is sent to our microcontroller via the serial port, and the ID of this button is sent. Okay, that's it. And we also need to set the same for this. We set it at touch release because I want to. You can play around with these two other events, set component ID, and we need to write a little code here, because if we release it, it will only send the component ID and not the slider value, but we need the slider value. So what we do is we write print, and as you can see, it is very nicely suggesting us things, and our name is h0, so the slider name is h0.val, and there we go. Okay, so it did it, but we want something else as well. So what we want is we want to see the percentage of the value with respect to the maximum value on the slider, which means the slider actually has a maximum value of 255, but we want to see the percentage of the current value with respect to our maximum value. So but we cannot do this directly, that's why we use this variable thing. So what we do is we keep the value of our slider in this variable. Then we actually do a little math. 0.val times 100 divided by 255. Our maximum value is 255, that is 100%. So what's the percentage of our current slider value? Okay, that's it. Now we need to put this value in our label. So what we do is conv is our variable conversion and transferring function. You can see the documentation in the Nextion website. This function is taking in our variable value and putting it into our text, the label, and the 0 means that the length of the string is not fixed, it's automatic. Okay, that's all we wanted to do in this project, this UI design. So let's compile once and then debug. Okay, so let's see if things are working fine. If we click this toggle, we see that he's actually sending this value, so it's okay. And if we press toggle, you can, if we pull this slider, okay, we see that it's showing the percentage, and but here it's sending the value. And okay, if we pull it further, it's showing here 100, but it is actually sending here 255. Here you can see it, and this is our progress bar. And we can actually play around with a few things here. For example, if we want to update the contents of this display, this label, we can just simply call t0 dot txt equals, say we want to say 5.25 for no reason, and actually we made a mistake because it's a string, obviously. If we press enter now, it shows the value. Very nice. And if we want to play with the gauge, well, I think its name was G or Z, maybe Z0 dot val val equals, say, 322. Okay, it goes to 0. Now how did this happen again? Well, there's a little bit of math here and a little bit of careful calibration. Well, if you set it to 0, it means it's at 0-degree angle. If you set it to 90, it will go here. If you set it to, say, around 270, it will go actually here, but we want it to go here. I think it will be around 220 because I've tested this, and since it's moving in clockwise direction, and 0 and 360 are basically the same points, so actually if we set it to 322, it actually rotates all the way to here. So basically you have to calibrate these according to the gauge you designed. Okay, and this progress bar is also simple. I think its name was J or something. Yeah, it shows that it's the progress bar. Very nice. The value, say we want to set it to 50, it goes to 50. Cool.